Well, I hope you have your coffee or tea, or if it's 5 o'clock somewhere in the world and you're watching this now, maybe something a little stronger, and join me, Rolene Marks, with the Israel Brief as I do it every Monday to Thursday, bring you those top stories making headlines in Israel. And as always, we are brought to you by these guys, Lay of the Land. And if you want to find out more about Lay of the Land, all of our original content that we upload daily, don't forget to check us out. Those details coming up a little later in today's broadcast. But let's take a look at those top stories. Today is day 187 of Israel's war with Hamas, which started on the 7th of October, following the genocidal atrocities committed by Hamas when they invaded Israel on that Black Sabbath. As you can see, I wear this dog tag around my neck. On it is written in English, "Bring them home now." I, of course, am referring to the 133 hostages still being held captive by Hamas. 97 of them are presumed alive. 36 we know are dead, having been murdered by Hamas terrorists. Written in Hebrew is, "Halev shelanu shavui ba'aza." Our hearts are captive in Gaza. And in Israel, no matter where you sit on the political spectrum, the one thing we are all absolutely 100% united about is the need to bring them home now. Release our people immediately. We want those hostages home, and that we cannot have Hamas, a terror enclave, on our borders. So let's take a look at those latest developments. And UK Secretary, or Foreign Secretary at least, David Cameron has said that the United Kingdom will not be halting arms sales to Israel. This follows a tremendous amount of pressure from many in the left-wing camp and others, including the highest of politicians making this request, London Mayor Sadiq Khan. I would just say to Mr. Khan, don't you want to concentrate on the violence and anti-Semitism on your streets before you involve yourself in our conflict? Cameron went on to say that the UK's position has not changed, and that according to the assessments of Israel's military campaign in Gaza and our military conduct, the information and the assessment has shown that there is no violation of international law, that the criteria that the United Kingdom has in place to sell weapons has not been violated. This is extremely crucial, as there are many voices around the world accusing Israel of routinely violating international law. Israel has always and will always operate within the parameters of the laws of armed conflict. The Foreign Secretary went on to say that this is in conjunction and in line with Britain's international partners. Staying with Britain's international partners, we now go stateside, where Pentagon Chief Lloyd Austin, the Defense Secretary, addressing a Senate hearing yesterday on the armed services, said that there is no evidence to support claims of genocide being committed in Gaza. Now, what is very interesting is that the health ministry from Gaza, which we know is controlled by Hamas, has admitted to a number of flaws in their casualty figures. They say that it is very hard to substantiate just how many of the casualties have died as a result of war. Now, this is something we've been telling you. We've had excellent experts, including Major John Spencer. He is the chair for urban warfare studies at West Point Military Academy, and he has said that the ratio of combatant to civilian killed is 1-to-1, which is very, very low, perhaps the lowest in armed conflict. This is why it is an imperative, before we just talk in sound bites and believe TikTok and just talk in slogans, that we do the investigation and find out the facts on the ground. This follows a study by the Washington Institute for Near East Studies that also shows massive inconsistencies in the numbers that are reported by Hamas. Remember, Hamas makes no distinction between combatant and civilian. We have no breakdown how many of those casualties are as a result of war, and men are never mentioned. It's only ever women, children, aid workers, and journalists, never men. And we do know, and this is according to United Nations records, that Hamas and other terror groups recruit child soldiers as young as 13 years old, and that makes a big difference when it comes to the casualty figures and the laws of combat. Now, his comments follow a statement by Elizabeth Warren, Senator Elizabeth Warren, certainly no friend to Israel, who said that she believes the ICJ, the International Court of Justice, will find evidence of war crimes. But we have now heard from a substantial amount of experts with very, very clinical analysis that there is no genocide happening in Gaza. War is horrendous. War is horrific. But there is a big difference between casualties in war and genocide. When we talk about genocide, we speak of intent, and there is only one party that was intent not only of murdering as many civilians when they came into Israel. This includes foreign nationals from your countries, but also is intent on sacrificing its own civilian population in order to push its strategy, and that is Hamas. Foreign Minister Israel Katz has warned Iran that if Iran attacks Israel from its own soil, Israel will retaliate and attack in Iran. Now, this follows the strike on an Iranian embassy building last week in Damascus, Syria, killing a senior IRGC, that's Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps commander, and 6 others. Israel doesn't comment on these strikes, doesn't confirm or deny. And earlier today, the Ayatollah Al-Khamenei took to X. How he is still on X, Elon Musk, is beyond me. He's a genocidal lunatic, and said that the Zionist regime will be punished, that the attack on the embassy on Syrian soil is tantamount to an attack on Iranian soil. Iranian officials have said it's a matter of time that Israel's punished, and they won't say when, but it will happen. Now, in Israel, we are really, really tense at the moment, preparing for any inevitability. If you can't get us via WhatsApp, or you can't get Waze in Israel, it's because a lot of the systems have been scrambled to confuse those very, very sophisticated precision-guided missiles fired by Hezbollah. And finally, some good news. We could all do with some good news. And I don't think that there is any person more deserving of kavod, of honor, than one Mr. Douglas Murray. A huge Mazel Tov to Douglas Murray, who was awarded a special award by President Herzog and Diaspora Affairs Minister Amichai Chikli at the President's residence yesterday for being such a vocal defender of the State of Israel. Douglas, and I feel very sorry for any opponent who comes up against him in a debate, has been nothing less than exceptional. Douglas, if you're watching, I don't know, you might watch the Israel Brief. We already consider you part of the family. We already consider you part of Israel. You don't even have to make Aliyah. We consider you Israeli. We cannot think of anybody more deserving of an award to thank you than you. You have said that you have a low tolerance of lies, and in the words of Eilon Levy, another great advocate for Israel, may you inspire millions more to be low tolerant of lies. I'm Rolly Marks. That's it for the Israel Brief, but you guys know where to follow us on social media, do you? Okay, in case you don't, let me remind you. Our website is at www.layoftheland.online. Our Facebook page is at Lottle Site. Our YouTube channel is at the Israel Brief. Click on that subscribe button below. And we are on Twitter, or X. Who can keep up? At Lay of the Land 5. I'm Rolly Marks. This is the Israel Brief. Guys, take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And join me again tomorrow with a cup of tea for your Israel Brief. God bless.